She can hear me well. First of all, thanks so much for having me a part of this discussion. And it's well, like Anupal and Rashmi also mentioned, this is a very dear topic, very very close to the heart. Lived through it personally, gone through it personally, so I could really talk about these topics dearly at a personal level as well. Uh, Rishi, the question really you asked is about what showstoppers, I mean, what comes in the way, right, in making this possible. And if I'm posed with this question by a group of people, and I would ask the group further on, what is the cost of well-being? Or imagine having a workforce whose well-being is in question. What was the cost of having such people working with you? And you're talking about having bigger ambitions of achieving a business with, 4x, 5x, or 6x, ambition to win. So imagine a situation where you're having a workplace where well-being of people is not to its best, and you're expecting people to deliver good, not just good, great performance. Okay, today nobody is talking about good performance. Today everyone is talking about great performance. So the question is really about, are we okay with that? Then let's the conversation in a different direction. But I think we've come to a situation that if you don't challenge back the thinking process of people, we're never going to make it. As much as I have seen through my experiences, I'm going to talk about the employer that I work with right now. I think it's really walk the talk in that sense that uh, wellness, and it's not a board agenda. It's no longer a board agenda. It's an agenda which everyone needs to be in together. And this only means that we need to do it together, and we need to voice out together about our challenges and difficulties, what will come in our way, and most importantly, what do we need to do to execute as well. So, in my view, budget and policies and things like that are really no showstoppers at all. In my view, if there's a very clear intent, and that's the answer I picked up from the question as well, leaders have the intent. And I think that's the call. If the intent is very clearly articulated, committed, and we're absolutely committed to it, nothing comes our way. I always think about workplace as a very. I look at it this way. Okay, I'll give you an example, maybe a little odd, but let me give you an example. Okay, workplace is like a garden, and if you want the garden to look nice and glow, fresh flowers and things like that, you got to create the right infrastructure, support, environment, and the climate around it for things to work well, right? You can't be fixing every plant and every flower around you, and we've all learned this as well. So if you want to create the right climate around you so that people flourish, grow, and nurture, the infrastructure support is a given. It is not a matter of policy mandates. It's not a matter of X number of dollar value attached to per person. It is a given, and this doesn't mean it has to come back to a specific per person cost budgeting. It just means we have to do it. So that's non-negotiable in my view. I was also hearing to Anupal as well, and even Sonal as well at the beginning of this conversation. Sonal, you mentioned earlier as well that topics like war, topics like pandemic and things like that. Actually, we haven't experienced it. I haven't experienced it. I heard from my parents that they had seen the India-Pakistan war and the India-China war. I never heard about these things. And in my view, this is really this is a difficult time for all of us because, long time ago as management professionals, we study the Maslow's theory of motivation. 1943. Maslow's theory was actually written in 1943, which talks about, safety and psychological safety and step one, and further ahead of the pillar as well. Guys, this is a time where we are actually living the Maslow's theory. We live it every day, but today this is more in focus. So imagine you talk about topics like, psychological safety, and you talk about topics like, physiological safety and things like that. Everything is being in question. So if you want to really have a workforce which is empowered, which is motivated, which is driven, you want the best out of it, these are non-negotiables for me. It's just like the garden. You want to make sure that everything is nice and gloomy, it's pretty and stuff like that. But you got to nurture it with the right manure and the right support system so that the right wellness can be created out of that workspace. And for me, this is a non-negotiable topic. So, I clearly believe that this is an agenda that needs to be fought for. If things are not working in the right direction, as leaders, as corporate leaders, corporate India leaders, this is an agenda we got to fight for. And if this means that you got to have some tough wars with people, go for it. It's worth it. I'm sure Anupal would recognize, and so would Rashmi as well, that this is one agenda we cannot afford to have in a backseat. One leave policy cut acceptable, but wellness topic cut not acceptable that way. So that's my personal view about it. So I really think it's about we are responsible to create the right climate for our workforce and make a happy climate. factors are going to be there which are going to detriment the overall climate around us, but we are responsible to create a balanced climate, if not a hostile one for sure. So that's my personal view about it. Rishi, thanks for the question.
Thank you very much, Rishma. Before I put in some thoughts, is there anybody else who wants to give their opinion? Okay.
No, that's fine. She said it all, and she said it very nicely. Well done, Rishma.
No, we echo the same view. The smiles on the face, on the camera can view it. We echo the same view.